Hey friends, Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business here, and no, I have not set that switch up yet. I believe actually I bought the stuff to make that switch that'll go right here. Just have not had enough time to do it. There's not enough hours in the day. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pull a Jerry Jones right now because I'm going to stir some shit up a little bit here. All right, let's get the football gods. See if they'll stay on my side here. As we said, 152 days, 3 hours, 11 minutes, and 25 seconds away from the kickoff of the 2018 season. Now, I am tired of, as Voch calls them, that 80%. And Voch, I'm going to get to you in a minute. This 80% that it doesn't matter what the Dallas Cowboys do, they're going to bitch, they're going to whine, they're going to moan and groan and say it's the dumbest thing ever. We suck. Can't win the Super Bowl. We make dumb contracts. You know, we didn't get this guy. We didn't get that guy. If it were up to that 80% out there, those of you, literally, we wouldn't have a team. Seriously. We would not have a team. Tyron Smith, get rid of him. Can't stay healthy. Costs too much. Zach Martin, oh, he wants to get paid. Get rid of him. Not worth that kind of money. Travis Frederick, oh, got sick. Get rid of him. Replace him. Zeke Elliott, can't stay out of trouble. Get rid of him. He's a bum. Dak Prescott, up, he digressed. Sophomore slump, get rid of him. He's a bum. DeMarcus Lawrence, he wants too much money. Get rid of him. He's a bum. Byron Jones, can't play corner, can't play safety. Get rid of him. He's a bum. Jalen Smith, he's injured. Get rid of him. He's a bum. I mean, you could literally go down the line of everybody on the team, and you guys would say, get rid of them. And my question is, some of them you're right. A few people, a few players, you're all right. It's time to let a guy go. But for the most part, you got to understand that if you're replacing and getting rid of somebody, you got to get somebody to replace that person. And I don't see all pros just all over the place that you can just pull in, especially when you have to pay them. Now, all you ones that are whining and moaning and groaning and all that, understand that this team, this roster, has 14 Pro Bowl players on it. And yet it's still one of the younger teams in the NFL. Let me say that one more time. The Cowboys are one of the younger teams in the NFL, yet they have 14 Pro Bowl players on the roster. Starters, offense, and defense, that's 22. You got almost 70% of your players that are starters that are Pro Bowl players. You can't acquire much more talent than that. I mean, seriously. You cannot get much more talent than that on the roster. Now, make no mistake. It's time to win with all this talent that we have. Many times we've had more talent than other teams, but yes, seem to underachieve. And that, of course, is the reason why Jason Garrett's on the hot seat right now. But you can't argue with the amount of talent that this team has put on here. And right now, Jason Garrett, you got to do something here because I got to tell you, the Dallas Cowboys, because of Jerry Jones, may not be the place that a lot of people want to coach. But you start to look and say, damn, that's a lot of good guys on that team. The things I could do with that kind of talent on the field, maybe I should think twice about the Dallas Cowboys and maybe, go in there for a year or two and coach them up, get my ring, get paid, and get out. So here's my thing. Now that the Cowboys have dissected the season, last year's, and they said, we need to had a running back, upgrade wide receiver, tight end, defensive line, safety. They've gone through and they've addressed all this. So the question becomes is, what are we doing in 3 weeks at the draft? Voch Lombardi, Voch, he's my boy. Seriously, he's my boy. Having been an offensive lineman, his whole thing is we got to get another offensive lineman. When we were in 2016, we were chewing people up, and I understand his point of view because he was an offensive lineman. Me, on the other hand, Voch, I look differently because I think about that all-world offensive line that we had in 2014 and 2016, and it wasn't enough to get us over the hump to win that Super Bowl. So we've had great offensive line, and I look at it like this, because I know last year was subpar for our offensive line where we've been before, because Tyron Smith is doing what Tyron Smith does. He misses 2-3 games now a season. That's just baked into the equation right now. But you've got a Cam Fleming who stepped in and played admirable. We're adding a Pro Bowl player back into the mix off of last year. And Travis Frederick. To me, that's better than anybody going to add in the draft. Am I wrong on that, Voch? If Travis Frederick is, as everybody says he is, and is going to be working out with the team starting the 15th, if you're adding a Pro Bowl player to your offensive line, that's like drafting a great guy. Now Connor Williams, he has put on some muscle mass, an extra 10 pounds, who I think would be a better tackle than guard, and I would like to see him at tackle. But I'm okay with him at either spot. But we also now have a guy who's a swing offensive lineman at guard and center in Looney Tunes, who got 16 games of experience. I'm not saying that he's as good as Travis Frederick. I'm not saying he's as good as Zach Martin. But if one of those guys get hurt, I'm confident enough that, hey, he can play some football. And Xavier Salafalo had a couple of games that weren't too bad. He's still raw and still needs some work and stuff, but again, can play when you need to. And the fact that we don't have Mr. Ketchup Bottle himself, where his starters have to know to tap on the 57, to me, I can say the offensive line will be better than they were last year. And I know you say that, the offensive line, we gave up 50-some sacks and everything else, that we got to protect it. But see, I look at it a little bit differently, Voch. I look at it collectively. You're not going to ever have the perfect situation every which way, because I look back at history. And when I think back to the Dallas Cowboys winning Super Bowls, yes, they had great offensive lines. Make no mistake about it. We had road graders for Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith. But what we also had, back with Roger Staubach, back with Jimmy Johnson, were lights out defenses. So we've had that great offensive line without that defense. And that's where, to me, I'm thinking defense. I'm still wanting that defense. Because here's the thing, the difference here. If your defense can't stop the other team when it counts, if the defense can't give your offense extra opportunities, if your defense isn't quite that stout, especially when the weather gets cold, when you have teams that are going to run on them, run up the gut, then it doesn't matter how good that offensive line is, because collectively it's all a team effort. And I believe the offensive line, just from having another year of maturity and getting back to playing football the Dallas Cowboys way, the fact they're getting more experienced guys that are backups and getting a Travis Frederick back, that offensive lineman isn't where you go with that first pick. Now, with that being said, if it ends up being a guy who you have rated as a first-round talent, that happens to be an offensive lineman, that you say, I can plug this guy in right now, and he's going to be a Pro Bowl player, starting off the bat. And I can turn around and say, okay, I can let somebody else go and create some cap room where I can then go for somebody else to go on the defense. Then I'm all with you. But if it's not that kind of scenario, I think you look for an impact guy. And I'm, in my thoughts, and I'll elaborate in another video, to me, it's safety that you're looking at. If there is a lights out safety that falls there. But we'll go into that a little bit more. I'm sure Voch is going to come back at me and tell me I'm an idiot. And that's okay because he's young, although got to be careful because Voch likes some guns. And he is in the area currently. So, Voch, give me your thoughts and your reasons why it's got to be an offensive lineman. I'm Mark Holmes, and well, I'm kind of stirring some stuff up here on this Saturday. I'll see you guys soon.